The summer of 1944 in Normandy was a crucible of chaos and uncertainty. How one forgotten soldier could change the course of a Panzer division seemed impossible, yet history was about to reveal an extraordinary tale. Never expected were the circumstances that would thrust this lone individual into a position of incredible responsibility, where every choice, every movement, could determine the fate of hundreds of lives. Rejected ideas of conventional strategy and adherence to orders would clash with the demands of improvisation, testing courage and ingenuity in ways that most could never imagine. The enemy's armored division, confident and unstoppable, advanced with precision and strength, unaware that a single soldier's forbidden plan would soon confront their momentum. Secret operation after secret operation had been whispered in training, yet none prepared anyone for this moment, where the balance of power rested on quick thinking and relentless determination. Impossible mission after impossible mission had been attempted in history, but nothing like this. A single soldier standing against mechanized fury, alone, and yet capable of rewriting the battle. Shocking truth revealed itself in the form of tiny decisions and split-second timing. A choice to hold a position here, a decision to redirect fire there, movements that seemed insignificant but would ripple across the battlefield with devastating consequence. How one man's courage could mask fear, command respect from allies, and invoke hesitation among enemies was a phenomenon rarely seen and almost never documented. Never expected were the challenges of terrain, the unpredictability of reinforcements, and the sheer power of the Panzer division. Yet the soldier navigated each obstacle with focus and an unyielding resolve. Rejected ideas of retreat, hesitation, or reliance on conventional tactics had no place in this scenario. Only the forbidden plan, executed with precision and nerve, could preserve the fragile balance between survival and annihilation. Secret operation protocols, though meant for coordinated units, were mentally adapted by this lone figure to orchestrate maneuvers that seemed audacious, almost reckless, but profoundly effective. Impossible mission became plausible, not through brute force, but through cunning, patience, and intimate knowledge of terrain, visibility, and enemy psychology. Shocking truth revealed itself in the way small acts, a well-placed explosive, a subtle signal to nearby allies, an unorthodox use of a trench or barricade, could destabilize a formidable Panzer advance, forcing hesitation, doubt, and even retreat. How one man, nearly invisible against the chaos of battle, could influence the rhythm of an armored division demonstrated a combination of skill, audacity, and precise timing that bordered on the miraculous. Never expected were the emotional strains, the physical exhaustion, and the psychological toll. Yet every heartbeat, every breath, every action reinforced the gravity of the forbidden plan. Rejected ideas of cowardice, indecision, or conventional compliance were replaced with creative solutions, daring tactics, and relentless vigilance. Secret operation thinking guided every motion, whether it was the calculation of a shot, the adjustment of position, or the observation of enemy behavior. Impossible mission scenarios became tangible through courage, ingenuity, and the extraordinary ability to anticipate the enemy's moves before they could act. Shocking truth revealed itself in the quiet pauses, the rapid assessments, and the perfect alignment of chance and strategy, which together produced an effect that seemed almost predestined. How one individual could embody the essence of battlefield improvisation while maintaining the integrity of an overarching strategy reflected the profound significance of training, foresight, and courage under pressure. Never expected were the moments when life hung in the balance, where hesitation could spell doom and decisive action could secure victory. Rejected ideas of following only the chain of command faded as necessity demanded innovation, daring, and a solitary willingness to shoulder responsibility. Secret operation principles, though designed for coordinated teams, were applied single-handedly with remarkable efficiency and precision. Impossible mission dynamics, Powerful Panzer tanks, coordinated infantry, artillery barrages were countered through meticulous observation, cunning maneuvers, and an uncanny instinct for timing. Shocking truth revealed itself in the aftermath of each encounter, where minor actions compounded to alter the perception, rhythm, and morale of the enemy. How one man could navigate such a battlefield, balancing fear, responsibility, and tactical genius, would become the foundation of a story that many would later call legendary. Never expected were the endurance, patience, and mental fortitude required. Yet these qualities defined the soldier's approach, ensuring that every moment contributed to the overarching forbidden plan. Rejected ideas of hesitation, indecision, or excessive caution had no place, replaced instead by bold moves, calculated risks, and an unwavering commitment to success. Secret operation thinking manifested in split-second decision-making, unorthodox maneuvers, and anticipatory actions that undermined the enemy's expectations. Impossible mission scenarios, though daunting, were transformed into actionable opportunities through focus, courage, and keen situational awareness. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly. The small, calculated, and seemingly inconsequential choices of one soldier had a magnified effect, disrupting a Panzer division that seemed unstoppable. How one forgotten soldier, alone amidst chaos and destruction, could halt a mechanized advance was both extraordinary and historically profound. Never expected were the outcomes, the ripple effects, and the historical significance that would later be recognized, cementing this moment as a testament to courage, strategy, and the power of individual action. Rejected ideas of passive observation or reliance on luck were replaced by deliberate, tactical ingenuity. Secret operation mentality drove each choice, each adjustment, and each engagement, ensuring that the impossible mission remained within reach. Impossible mission scenarios, overwhelming odds, mechanized force, hostile terrain, were rendered manageable through precision, strategy, and sheer audacity. Shocking truth revealed itself as each enemy misstep, hesitation, and diverted advance underscored the soldier's influence and the transformative power of human initiative. How one man could shift the course of a Panzer division was a story of courage, intellect, and indomitable will, the likes of which would be rarely seen again. The battlefield was alive with noise, smoke, and the rolling thunder of armored tanks, yet the forgotten soldier remained focused, unseen and unheard, a solitary figure against a tide of mechanized fury. How one man could create a ripple in such overwhelming force was extraordinary, yet the forbidden plan demanded nothing less. Never expected were the consequences of hesitation, miscalculation, or fatigue, for a single error could spell disaster, not just for the soldier, but for the units relying on his actions. Rejected ideas of conventional engagement had been replaced by an improvisation born of necessity, a strategy uniquely suited to the chaos of Normandy's contested fields. Secret operation thinking allowed him to anticipate enemy movements, to position himself where he could maximize impact while minimizing exposure, turning the impossible mission into a calculated, though highly dangerous, series of maneuvers. Shocking truth revealed itself in the moment when the Panzer division, confident and methodical, began to falter, slowed by unexpected resistance, confusion, and subtle interference that only a lone soldier could create. How one individual could manipulate the battlefield, influence enemy timing, and create openings for Allied forces was almost inconceivable, yet it was precisely what occurred. Never expected were the mental calculations, spatial awareness, and psychological endurance required to execute the forbidden plan flawlessly, to remain calm amidst the chaos, and to exploit every weakness the enemy unknowingly presented. Rejected ideas of retreat, passive observation, or adherence to standard protocols were irrelevant in the face of such a critical and unique challenge. The mission demanded innovation, boldness, and a relentless focus on outcome. Secret operation elements, silent signaling, calculated diversions, and precise targeting were applied with extraordinary effect, undermining the efficiency of an armored division and buying crucial time for Allied maneuvers. Impossible mission scenarios, the relentless advance of mechanized units, coordinated artillery, and a vast, disciplined enemy force were neutralized not by numbers or firepower, but by the soldiers' ingenuity, timing, and courage. Shocking truth revealed itself again and again. Small interventions, moving obstacles, controlling key intersections, manipulating terrain, had disproportionate effects on the enemy's progress, forcing hesitation and missteps that could change the tide of a larger battle. How one man could remain invisible yet indispensable, a silent architect of chaos within enemy ranks, highlighted both the fragility and the unpredictability of war. Never expected were the emotional strains of isolation, the weight of responsibility for hundreds of lives, and the constant awareness of imminent danger. Yet these pressures were endured with discipline and resolve. Rejected ideas of relying on chance or waiting for reinforcements gave way to decisive action, precise execution, and continuous adaptation to the battlefield's fluid reality. Secret operation planning guided his choices, whether in the selection of firing positions, the timing of diversions, or the subtle manipulation of enemy expectations. Impossible mission scenarios, numerical inferiority, enemy firepower superiority, and terrain disadvantage were countered through creativity, observation, and relentless courage. Shocking truth revealed itself in the reactions of the enemy. Hesitation, delay, and confusion arose not from luck, but from the deliberate, calculated actions of a single soldier whose presence and decisions dictated the tempo of engagement. How one man could halt a Panzer division's advance, even temporarily, was a testament to individual initiative and the remarkable impact of careful planning and courage under pressure. Never expected were the moments when instantaneous decisions determined the survival of not only the soldier, but also the integrity of the Allied front. Rejected ideas of conventional compliance or passive engagement had no role. Only bold, calculated moves mattered, forming the backbone of a forbidden plan executed alone. Secret operation strategies, timing, terrain manipulation, and psychological disruption were implemented with perfection, each choice amplifying the effectiveness of his actions against the Panzer column. Impossible mission realities, rapidly advancing tanks, coordinated infantry support, and relentless enemy fire were mitigated by foresight, patience, and ingenuity, demonstrating that audacity combined with precision could overcome overwhelming odds. Shocking truth revealed itself in the battlefield's subtle shifts, the delayed advance, and the small but critical opportunities exploited by the soldier, showcasing the profound influence a single individual could wield. How one man, forgotten in name but remembered in action, could impose control over a scenario seemingly dictated by armored might, exemplified the extraordinary power of courage, skill, and tactical awareness. Never expected were the cumulative effects of continuous vigilance, rapid adaptation, and psychological resilience. Yet these qualities allowed the forbidden plan to progress without compromise. Rejected ideas of hesitation, reliance on orders alone, or conventional strategies were replaced by calculated improvisation and decisive execution. Secret operation thinking guided every micro-decision, ensuring that each action multiplied its effect on the advancing Panzer forces. Impossible mission outcomes, where failure seemed inevitable, were converted into success through a combination of courage, intelligence, and timing. Shocking truth revealed itself at every checkpoint, every diversion, and every moment where the enemy faltered under pressure, proving that one determined soldier could, against all odds, influence the advance of an entire armored division. How one forgotten soldier became the fulcrum upon which the Panzer Division's momentum teetered remains a lesson in audacity, precision, and the extraordinary impact of singular, fearless initiative. Normandy, 1944, was a landscape carved by war, a place where every hill, trench, and road held the potential for sudden death. How one soldier's presence could influence this environment seemed improbable, yet the stage was set for extraordinary events. Never expected were the conditions that awaited him: muddy fields, treacherous terrain, and the constant hum of enemy machinery, all conspiring to create the perfect theater for chaos. Rejected ideas of standard preparation and predictable tactics gave way to adaptive thinking. The forbidden plan required understanding the battlefield in ways that manuals and orders could never teach. Secret operation techniques, though intended for coordinated units, were distilled into a personal strategy, with every step, every observation, and every choice calculated to maximize effect and minimize exposure. Impossible mission scenarios, confronting an entire Panzer division with limited support, contending with unpredictable weather, and navigating unfamiliar territory, were rendered tangible through focus, timing, and an unyielding will. Shocking truth revealed itself as the soldier assessed the terrain. The hills could conceal movement, the forests could block sightlines, and a single misstep could lead to instant detection or destruction. How one individual could internalize the complexities of this battlefield while maintaining readiness for action highlighted the intersection of preparation, skill, and instinct. Never expected were the hidden dangers: booby traps, concealed enemy positions, and rapid counterattacks. Yet the soldier moved deliberately, blending awareness with calculated risk. Rejected ideas of following conventional lines or trusting predictable patterns were discarded. The forbidden plan demanded unconventional paths, surprise maneuvers, and careful observation. Secret operation principles guided decisions on positioning, timing, and engagement, ensuring that even small actions would carry outsized influence over enemy behavior. Impossible mission logistics, limited ammunition, restricted visibility, and constant threat of detection were mitigated by adaptive thinking, prioritizing the most impactful opportunities while avoiding unnecessary exposure. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly. The environment itself became a tool, allowing a lone soldier to manipulate perception, control movement, and create delays in enemy progress. How one man could synchronize his movements with the terrain, anticipate enemy patrols, and exploit every natural and man-made feature reflected extraordinary situational awareness. Never expected were the cognitive demands of continuously scanning for threats, recalibrating tactics, and adjusting to unpredictable enemy behavior, all while maintaining the forbidden plan's integrity. Rejected ideas of hesitation or passive observation were replaced with active engagement, rapid assessment, and tactical improvisation. Secret operation mentality dictated that each choice, no matter how minor, contributed to a broader influence over the battlefield, disrupting enemy cohesion and rhythm. Impossible mission elements, mechanized units, artillery support, and coordinated enemy advances were countered through intelligent positioning, judicious action, and exploitation of both terrain and timing. Shocking truth revealed itself in how the soldiers' small movements created uncertainty, hesitation, and minor delays that would compound into larger strategic effects. How one man, isolated and unrecognized, could manipulate the battlefield without alerting the enemy demonstrated the profound impact of knowledge, courage, and decisive action. Never expected were the psychological strains of isolation, constant vigilance, and the relentless presence of death, yet the soldier endured with discipline, focus, and mental clarity. Rejected ideas of blind obedience or adherence to linear plans were abandoned. Innovation, daring, and responsiveness became the core of the forbidden plan. Secret operation thinking informed every decision, from selection of routes to timing of movement, ensuring optimal disruption of enemy operations. Impossible mission conditions, overwhelming odds, continuous pressure, and environmental hazards were neutralized by insight, anticipation, and relentless perseverance. Shocking truth revealed itself as the battlefield's natural complexity was turned into an ally. Ditches concealed approaches, hills provided vantage points, and forests masked movements. How one soldier could exploit these features while avoiding enemy detection and maintaining mission focus reflected the depth of his training, intellect, and courage. Never expected were the split-second decisions that determined whether a plan would succeed or fail, yet each choice was executed with precision, reinforcing the forbidden plan's potential for impact. Rejected ideas of predictable behavior, linear tactics, or reliance on reinforcement were discarded. Instead, adaptive strategy, calculated risk, and timing became paramount. Secret operation principles ensured that each action, no matter how subtle, would ripple through the battlefield, influencing enemy perception and movement. Impossible mission dynamics, speed, stealth, and enemy coordination were met with acute awareness, tactical ingenuity, and unflinching resolve. Shocking truth revealed itself in the soldier's ability to transform apparent disadvantages into tactical leverage, manipulating both environment and enemy expectation. How one man, alone yet decisive, could operate within a battlefield of immense complexity underscored the extraordinary potential of skill, preparation, and courage under relentless pressure. The Normandy landscape offered both opportunity and peril, a mixture of open fields, hedgerows, and ruined villages, each concealing potential threats and strategic advantage. How one soldier could interpret and utilize these features would define the success of the forbidden plan, a strategy born out of necessity and audacity. Never expected were the challenges posed by enemy reconnaissance, constantly probing for weaknesses, and the unpredictable movements of Panzer units maneuvering with lethal efficiency. Rejected ideas of standard engagement were useless here. Conventional tactics would only expose the soldier to annihilation. Secret operation thinking dictated adaptation, improvisation, and the clever use of cover and concealment, turning obstacles into tools of tactical advantage. Impossible mission conditions were compounded by limited communication with Allied forces, forcing reliance on observation, instinct, and rapid decision-making. Shocking truth revealed itself when the soldier realized that terrain, timing, and enemy psychology were as critical as firepower. Subtle adjustments could shift the balance of engagement, even when facing overwhelming, armored might. How one individual could integrate intelligence reports, visual cues, and personal judgment into coherent action demonstrated an unparalleled mastery of battlefield awareness. Never expected were the hazards lurking in every corner, hidden machine gun nests, concealed artillery positions, and snipers positioned to punish any misstep. Yet the soldier pressed forward, guided by focus and the forbidden plan. Rejected ideas of passive defense or following predictable routes gave way to creative maneuvers, such as exploiting small gaps in hedgerows, advancing along unguarded ridges, and using decoys to confuse enemy observation. Secret operation principles required meticulous planning, yet flexibility in execution. The soldier could anticipate enemy reactions while retaining the freedom to adjust tactics as the situation evolved. Impossible mission scenarios, such as single-handedly holding a line against advancing armored vehicles, relied on clever use of explosives, traps, and environmental advantages rather than brute strength. Shocking truth revealed itself in the subtle interplay between human initiative and mechanical force. Every minor intervention could delay, redirect, or disrupt the enemy's advance in ways that magnified over time. How one man could maintain composure, assess variables continuously, and act decisively under constant threat underscored the psychological fortitude demanded by the mission. Never expected were the sheer physical demands of moving through mud, debris, and ruin while staying alert to enemy movement and ready to execute precise actions at a moment's notice. Rejected ideas of hesitation, indecision, or linear planning were replaced with bold improvisation, each choice informed by observation, timing, and anticipated enemy behavior. Secret operation thinking allowed for predictive positioning, where the soldier could influence enemy decisions before they even fully formed, turning foresight into tangible battlefield advantage. Impossible mission realities, overwhelming enemy numbers, the speed of armored units, and the complexity of multi-layered defenses were mitigated through resourcefulness, patience, and relentless situational awareness. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly. Even minor adjustments to position, timing, or the use of terrain could ripple across the battlefield, slowing the advance of the Panzer division and creating critical opportunities for Allied forces. How one man's continuous adaptation and disciplined execution could compound into strategic impact demonstrated the profound effect of individual skill and courage. Never expected were the simultaneous mental calculations, physical endurance, and emotional resilience required to maintain operational effectiveness under such extreme conditions. Rejected ideas of rigid adherence to prior plans were abandoned, replaced by dynamic problem-solving, on-the-fly innovation, and a constant re-evaluation of enemy intentions. Secret operation methods guided the soldiers' movements, from exploiting concealment to initiating controlled distractions, ensuring that the forbidden plan retained momentum despite overwhelming opposition. Impossible mission challenges, mechanized superiority, enemy coordination, and environmental obstacles were neutralized through clever positioning, careful timing, and meticulous observation. Shocking truth revealed itself in how the battlefield could be manipulated through subtle, deliberate actions, magnifying the soldier's influence far beyond what seemed physically possible. How one forgotten soldier could navigate, survive, and direct events in a chaotic landscape highlighted the interplay between courage, intellect, and instinct, creating a ripple effect with lasting impact. Never expected were the moments where intuition, experience, and improvisation would combine to save lives, delay enemy progress, and preserve the strategic advantage essential to the broader campaign. Rejected ideas of passivity or linear thinking were replaced by adaptive, decisive measures, ensuring that every action reinforced the forbidden plan and contributed to the overall success. Secret operation thinking transformed the chaotic environment into a domain of opportunity, allowing one individual to influence events far beyond ordinary expectation. Impossible mission elements were countered not by sheer strength, but by foresight, ingenuity, and the relentless application of tactical knowledge. Shocking truth revealed itself in the cumulative effect of countless small decisions, demonstrating that even a single soldier, operating with focus and courage, could tip the scales against a formidable Panzer division. The Panzer division advanced relentlessly, a mechanical behemoth moving with deadly precision. Yet how one soldier could intervene remained a hidden variable that could alter the course of events. Never expected were the layers of challenge. Dense hedgerows that concealed enemy positions, mud-soaked roads that slowed movement, and the constant whine of engines signaling danger at every turn. Rejected ideas of waiting for backup or following conventional engagement lines were rendered obsolete by necessity. The forbidden plan demanded immediate action, adaptive thinking, and courage under pressure. Secret operation techniques became a mental framework, guiding decisions about positioning, timing, and observation, ensuring that each step carried maximum impact while minimizing exposure. Impossible mission realities, confronting a Panzer column with minimal support, were mitigated through careful selection of terrain, strategic positioning, and rapid exploitation of small openings. Shocking truth revealed itself as minor interventions. A redirected shot, a subtle barricade, a well-placed explosive could force hesitation, disruption, and even minor retreats in a division that seemed invincible. How one soldier, isolated and unrecognized, could orchestrate such outcomes highlighted the extraordinary potential of individual initiative and battlefield awareness. Never expected were the psychological burdens, the constant awareness of enemy firepower, the responsibility for Allied troops relying on timely action, and the emotional strain of operating in isolation under extreme conditions. Rejected ideas of predictable tactics or passive observation gave way to proactive maneuvers, leveraging concealment, surprise, and precise timing to manipulate enemy decisions. Secret operation thinking dictated that every movement, no matter how subtle, be deliberate, calculated, and aligned with the forbidden plan. Impossible mission scenarios, dense enemy formations, relentless armored advancement, and limited ammunition were countered through innovation, foresight, and the disciplined application of tactical knowledge. Shocking truth revealed itself in the realization that the battlefield was a living system, where minor actions could ripple outward, influencing morale, momentum, and decision-making across the Panzer division. How one individual could remain undetected while shaping the flow of combat underscored both courage and mastery of situational awareness. Never expected were the physical demands of rapid movement, accurate targeting, and continuous vigilance, compounded by the constant pressure of imminent threat. Rejected ideas of hesitation, overcaution, or reliance on conventional methods were abandoned. Only bold, precise, and adaptive actions could preserve both the mission and survival. Secret operation protocols, timing, positioning, and subtle interference were applied single-handedly, converting individual skill into strategic advantage. Impossible mission factors, enemy coordination, superior firepower, and numerical dominance were overcome by exploiting weakness, terrain, and the enemy's own assumptions. Shocking truth revealed itself in the small victories, delayed enemy maneuvers, disrupted communications, and moments of confusion that created opportunities for Allied reinforcements to capitalize. How one soldier's foresight, patience, and tactical ingenuity could manipulate the movements of an entire Panzer division demonstrated the profound effect of individual action in a chaotic environment. Never expected were the constant calculations of risk versus reward, the anticipation of enemy strategy, and the split-second decisions that could determine life or death. Rejected ideas of reliance on others or adherence to outdated plans gave way to rapid adaptation, observation, and precise execution, each action reinforcing the forbidden plan. Secret operation thinking enabled the soldier to anticipate enemy patterns, set up traps, and create controlled chaos without exposing himself unnecessarily. Impossible mission realities, overwhelming odds, mechanized units, and uncooperative terrain were managed through discipline, creativity, and relentless situational analysis. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly as the Panzer division faltered in small, compounding ways, demonstrating how individual effort, focus, and courage could influence outcomes far beyond expectation. How one forgotten soldier facing the relentless advance of mechanized forces could alter timing, disrupt momentum, and create critical delays showcased the extraordinary potential of tactical acumen and bravery. Never expected were the mental resilience, stamina, and continuous vigilance required to sustain this high-stakes engagement over hours, where each misstep could result in catastrophe. Rejected ideas of standard tactics, linear engagement, or passive compliance were replaced with decisive improvisation, strategic ingenuity, and unyielding determination. Secret operation principles guided every micro-decision, ensuring cumulative effects that destabilized the enemy's advance and provided leverage to Allied forces. Impossible mission challenges, armored superiority, environmental hazards, and complex enemy coordination were mitigated by adaptive execution, strategic observation, and an unrelenting focus on the forbidden plan. Shocking truth revealed itself in how small, deliberate, and calculated actions could compound into significant tactical advantage, influencing the course of the battle far beyond the soldier's immediate surroundings. The Panzer division pressed forward, engines roaring, treads tearing through mud. Yet how one forgotten soldier could delay their momentum remained the pivotal secret of the forbidden plan. Never expected were the split-second judgments required: when to hold, when to strike, when to exploit terrain, and when to retreat to maintain leverage. Rejected ideas of conventional strategy were discarded. Traditional formations and predictable tactics would have ensured annihilation, making improvisation the only path to influence events. Secret operation thinking guided every decision, allowing the soldier to manipulate timing, placement, and engagement without revealing his presence. Impossible mission realities, armored columns, coordinated infantry support, and relentless artillery were met with precision, observation, and calculated risk, leveraging minor advantages into strategic gains. Shocking truth revealed itself as minor obstacles. Fallen trees, narrow hedgerows, and small craters became tools to channel, slow, or confuse the enemy, creating openings that seemed miraculous given the disparity in force. How one man could orchestrate such influence over an entire division underscored the profound impact of initiative, intelligence, and courage on the battlefield. Never expected were the psychological pressures, isolation, responsibility for Allied survival, and the continuous awareness of overwhelming enemy presence. Yet the soldier endured, focused on each moment, each decision, and each action. Rejected ideas of hesitation, overcaution, or reliance on reinforcements gave way to daring action, calculated improvisation, and anticipation of enemy reactions. Secret operation elements, silent signals, subtle diversions, and carefully timed maneuvers ensured that every action had an amplified effect on enemy movement and decision-making. Impossible mission challenges, including superior numbers and firepower, were countered through ingenuity, leveraging terrain, timing, and the unpredictability of a single, resourceful individual. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly. Small actions compounded, delaying enemy advances, creating confusion, and forcing adjustments that bought crucial time for Allied units to reinforce positions. How one soldier could synchronize his actions with the flow of battle, anticipate enemy reactions, and exploit vulnerabilities demonstrated a mastery of battlefield awareness rarely seen. Never expected were the endurance, vigilance, and mental resilience required to maintain operational effectiveness while remaining largely unseen amidst chaos. Rejected ideas of linear engagement, waiting for orders, or predictable tactics were replaced with adaptive strategy, proactive improvisation, and calculated risk. Secret operation thinking enabled the soldier to convert environmental features into tactical advantages, turning hedgerows, buildings, and uneven terrain into instruments of disruption. Impossible mission scenarios, armored superiority, coordinated enemy maneuvers, and relentless pressure were neutralized through anticipation, swift action, and tactical creativity. Shocking truth revealed itself in moments when minor manipulations, a well-timed shot, a subtle barricade, or a temporary obstruction had disproportionate effects on enemy decisions, slowing the advance and creating openings for allies. How one individual could impose such influence over a Panzer division highlighted the extraordinary power of focus, courage, and tactical insight in shaping the course of a larger battle. Never expected were the repeated tests of skill, timing, and endurance, where even a brief lapse could jeopardize the forbidden plan and the lives of many. Rejected ideas of reliance on convention or passive engagement were replaced with continuous observation, rapid improvisation, and decisive execution. Secret operation principles dictated that every micro-action, positioning, movement, diversion, magnified impact, ensuring that the soldier's efforts were felt across the battlefield. Impossible mission realities, overwhelming odds, environmental complexity, and enemy coordination were mitigated through intelligence, foresight, and adaptability, demonstrating that audacity and precision could counter numerical and mechanical superiority. Shocking truth revealed itself as the Panzer Division's progress faltered. Momentum slowed, and hesitation crept into enemy movements, proving that a single determined soldier could have profound strategic influence. How one forgotten soldier could continually adapt, maintain focus, and leverage every small advantage ensured that the forbidden plan progressed, demonstrating the transformative power of individual initiative and tactical mastery. Never expected were the moments when intuition, experience, and split-second decisions converged, producing effects that would resonate across the battlefield, delaying the enemy, saving lives, and shaping the outcome of engagements. Rejected ideas of predictability, compliance, or hesitation were replaced with dynamic execution, relentless observation, and decisive intervention. Secret operation thinking remained the guiding framework, enabling one man to manipulate chaos, disrupt enemy cohesion, and sustain the forbidden plan despite overwhelming odds. Impossible mission challenges, mechanical superiority, coordinated attacks, and hostile terrain were continually countered through disciplined action, strategic foresight, and unwavering courage. Shocking truth revealed itself in every successful delay, misstep induced in the enemy, and tactical advantage seized, demonstrating that the efforts of one courageous soldier could alter the course of a Panzer Division's advance in ways that would echo through history. The moment of confrontation arrived as the Panzer Division reached the strategically critical sector, its armored might advancing with relentless precision. Yet how one soldier could shape this encounter remained the pivotal secret of the forbidden plan. Never expected were the stakes. Every decision carried the potential for catastrophic loss or decisive impact, and the soldier was acutely aware that hesitation would prove fatal. Rejected ideas of conventional engagement had no place here. Predictable tactics would have ensured annihilation. Secret operation principles guided every movement, from selecting positions to timing shots, orchestrating subtle distractions, and manipulating terrain, ensuring each action amplified influence across the battlefield. Impossible mission realities, overwhelming numbers, superior firepower, and coordinated enemy maneuvers were countered through meticulous observation, ingenuity, and audacious timing. Shocking truth revealed itself as the soldier leveraged the terrain, exploiting hedgerows, ruined buildings, and concealed pathways to channel enemy movement, delay advances, and create tactical advantages that seemed impossible given the disparity of forces. How one individual could manipulate events so dramatically underscored the extraordinary power of initiative, skill, and courage under pressure. Never expected were the psychological and physical burdens, continuous vigilance, fear, exhaustion, and the responsibility for Allied forces relying on the success of each maneuver. Rejected ideas of passivity, adherence to protocol, or overcautious restraint were replaced with decisive, adaptive, and tactical execution. Secret operation thinking allowed the soldier to create controlled chaos, setting traps, executing diversions, and using misdirection to manipulate enemy perception and behavior. Impossible mission elements, panzer tanks, coordinated infantry, and relentless artillery barrages were neutralized through a combination of timing, terrain exploitation, and ingenuity. Shocking truth revealed itself as even minor interventions, a well-placed explosive, a calculated repositioning, or a precise shot, compounded into disruptions that slowed, misdirected, and confused enemy forces. How one man, largely unseen, could influence the tempo and flow of armored units demonstrated the profound impact of individual decision-making within a chaotic environment. Never expected were the moments of intense pressure where split-second decisions determined life or death, mission success or failure. Rejected ideas of waiting for reinforcements or following predictable lines of engagement gave way to rapid improvisation, adaptive maneuvers, and relentless focus on immediate objectives. Secret operation techniques dictated continuous assessment, precise execution, and anticipatory planning, ensuring that every move was strategically significant. Impossible mission realities, numerical inferiority, overwhelming firepower, and environmental hazards were mitigated by creativity, tactical awareness, and decisive action. Shocking truth revealed itself in the disruption of enemy formations, hesitation among their ranks, and the creation of critical openings for Allied forces to exploit. How one soldier could synchronize movement, observation, and tactical execution under relentless pressure highlighted both courage and mastery of situational awareness. Never expected were the endurance and resilience required to sustain peak performance amidst chaos, danger, and constant uncertainty. Rejected ideas of linear progression or passive compliance were replaced with bold, unconventional action and adaptive strategy, each decision carefully calibrated to maximize impact. Secret operation thinking guided the execution of subtle manipulations, ensuring that enemy movements, timing, and perceptions were continually influenced. Impossible mission scenarios, mechanized superiority, coordinated attacks, and hostile terrain were countered through ingenuity, resourcefulness, and a relentless commitment to the forbidden plan. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly as the soldiers' actions caused hesitation, missteps, and temporary disorganization within the Panzer division, providing crucial advantages to Allied units. How one man, operating in isolation yet with deliberate precision, could dictate the rhythm of an engagement demonstrated the extraordinary power of courage, intelligence, and initiative on the battlefield. Never expected were the continual demands for awareness, split-second judgment, and adaptability, as any lapse could compromise the plan and imperil lives. Rejected ideas of predictability, conventional tactics, or reliance on reinforcement gave way to calculated improvisation, rapid adjustments, and decisive action. Secret operation principles ensured that every movement, every distraction, and every engagement served the overarching forbidden plan, transforming chaos into strategic advantage. Impossible mission realities were met not with brute force, but through timing, insight, and tactical ingenuity, allowing one soldier to hold sway over an advancing Panzer division. Shocking truth revealed itself as minor interventions compounded, causing disproportionate effects that influenced the enemy's momentum, morale, and operational coherence, reinforcing the extraordinary significance of individual action. The battlefield erupted with the roar of engines, the sharp crack of gunfire, and the shuddering tremors of Panzer tanks. Yet how one soldier could influence the chaos remained the hidden fulcrum of the forbidden plan. Never expected were the pressures to act decisively, to anticipate enemy maneuvers, and to maintain composure under extreme duress. Rejected ideas of conventional engagement, predictable tactics, or reliance on sheer numbers were obsolete. The situation demanded audacious improvisation and calculated risk. Secret operation principles guided every action, from positioning behind cover to orchestrating diversions, ensuring maximum effect with minimal exposure. Impossible mission realities, armored superiority, coordinated infantry, relentless artillery, and hostile terrain were mitigated through foresight, tactical ingenuity, and precise timing. Shocking truth revealed itself as the soldier exploited terrain, obstacles, and enemy assumptions to create confusion, slow advances, and open critical gaps for Allied forces. How one individual could manipulate movement, timing, and perception against a Panzer division highlighted the extraordinary potential of initiative, skill, and courage. Never expected were the emotional and physical tolls, fatigue, fear, isolation, and the constant awareness that every action could determine life or death for hundreds of soldiers. Rejected ideas of hesitancy, blind compliance, or linear tactics were replaced with bold, decisive maneuvers, continuous adaptation, and relentless observation. Secret operation techniques enabled precise calculation of risk and opportunity, allowing the soldier to exploit weaknesses, anticipate responses, and magnify the impact of each decision. Impossible mission elements, mechanized power, enemy coordination, and environmental hazards were countered through ingenuity, patience, and relentless focus. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly. Small interventions, a well-timed explosive, a subtle barricade, a misdirection rippled across the battlefield, causing hesitation, disruption, and minor retreats within the enemy's ranks. How one soldier could sustain influence over a mechanized division, unseen yet decisive, underscored the profound significance of individual initiative and tactical mastery. Never expected were the moments when intuition, experience, and rapid decision-making converged, producing effects that would shape the outcome of the battle in ways disproportionate to a single individual's size and strength. Rejected ideas of passive observation or adherence to protocol gave way to continuous action, adaptive tactics, and strategic improvisation. Secret operation thinking ensured that every micro-action, movement, diversion, and engagement was designed to amplify effect, disrupt enemy cohesion, and secure critical advantages for allied forces. Impossible mission realities were continuously confronted. Superior firepower, numerical advantage, and environmental complexity required extraordinary awareness, precision, and courage. Shocking truth revealed itself in the compounded effects of small actions, illustrating how a single, determined soldier could manipulate the momentum of a Panzer division and create opportunities that influenced the broader operational landscape. How one individual could maintain situational awareness, exploit terrain, and act decisively while under constant threat highlighted both skill and extraordinary resilience. Never expected were the relentless mental calculations, physical exertion, and emotional fortitude required to sustain the forbidden plan amidst continuous danger. Rejected ideas of predictable tactics, over-reliance on reinforcements, or passivity were replaced by calculated improvisation, decisive maneuvers, and tactical ingenuity. Secret operation principles guided every choice, ensuring that the soldiers' actions multiplied in effect, influencing enemy decisions, movements, and morale. Impossible mission elements, coordinated armored units, entrenched positions, and relentless pressure were overcome not by brute force, but through cunning, timing, and adaptive strategy. Shocking truth revealed itself in the repeated disruption of enemy advances, hesitation in command, and minor retreats, demonstrating the outsized impact of one skilled individual. How one forgotten soldier could dictate the rhythm of the engagement, maintain control over chaos, and manipulate enemy momentum, exemplified the extraordinary power of courage, intelligence, and situational awareness. Never expected were the cumulative demands on focus, endurance, and decision-making, where each moment of hesitation could have catastrophic consequences. Rejected ideas of linear strategy, passive engagement, or reliance on conventional tactics were replaced with adaptive execution, improvisation, and relentless commitment to the forbidden plan. Secret operation thinking ensured that chaos became opportunity, that the terrain, timing, and enemy psychology were leveraged for maximum effect, and that every action reinforced the strategic objective. Impossible mission realities were navigated with intelligence, courage, and precision, highlighting how one man could shape the outcome of a mechanized advance against overwhelming odds. Shocking truth revealed itself in the moments of victory, small disruptions compounding into strategic influence. Enemy hesitation magnified into decisive opportunity, and the soldier's forgotten presence remembered through action rather than recognition. The Panzer Division, once a symbol of unstoppable mechanized power, now faltered in ways none could have anticipated. How one forgotten soldier could instigate such disruption remained the central mystery of the forbidden plan. Never expected were the consequences of his interventions: delayed advances, disrupted communications, and tactical hesitation that rippled across the division, giving Allied forces precious moments to reorganize and counterattack. Rejected ideas of predictable outcomes, passive engagement, or reliance on overwhelming firepower were rendered irrelevant. The battlefield had shifted under the influence of a single, determined individual. Secret operation principles had guided every micro-decision, ensuring that each action compounded in effect, producing strategic advantage far beyond what conventional tactics could achieve. Impossible mission realities, confronting a superior enemy force, facing relentless mechanized units, and operating under extreme environmental and psychological pressure, were transformed into manageable challenges through foresight, courage, and ingenuity. Shocking truth revealed itself as Allied units exploited the openings created by the soldier. Gaps in enemy formations, delayed attacks, and compromised coordination allowed counteroffensives that had seemed unlikely hours before. How one individual could influence the rhythm of a battle, dictate tempo, enforce hesitation in a division built on speed and precision, underscored the extraordinary power of initiative and tactical insight. Never expected were the mental and physical endurance required to sustain continuous pressure, maintain awareness, and execute precise actions under constant threat. Rejected ideas of following standard procedures or relying solely on numerical strength were replaced by rapid adaptation, creative problem-solving, and unwavering focus on the forbidden plan. Secret operation thinking ensured that every decision, from positioning to engagement timing, was calculated to maximize disruption and secure strategic advantage. Impossible mission conditions, overwhelming armored superiority, coordinated enemy units, and hostile terrain were mitigated through intelligence, timing, and audacious improvisation. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly: small, deliberate actions, blocking a key route, misdirecting a tank column, or exploiting terrain, magnified over time, causing significant impact on enemy momentum and morale. How one soldier, unseen and largely unrecognized, could affect such outcomes highlighted the critical influence of courage, insight, and decisive action in the theater of war. Never expected were the ripple effects. Minor delays escalated into strategic opportunities, hesitation compounded into vulnerability, and the Panzer Division's operational cohesion was undermined by a series of subtle, precise interventions. Rejected ideas of passivity or linear thinking were discarded in favor of adaptive strategy, anticipatory action, and meticulous execution. Secret operation techniques allowed for anticipation of enemy behavior, controlled manipulation of engagement, and the careful orchestration of events to ensure maximum effect. Impossible mission realities, mechanical advantage, enemy coordination, and battlefield complexity were neutralized by insight, timing, and relentless focus on objectives. Shocking truth revealed itself as the division's commanders struggled to maintain control, their decisions slowed by uncertainty, and their forces diverted by unseen obstacles. How one individual could exert such influence over a mechanized force underscored the extraordinary potential of individual action in shaping the outcome of a larger engagement. Never expected were the cumulative physical, mental, and emotional strains required to execute the forbidden plan while under constant threat. Rejected ideas of blind adherence to orders, conventional strategy, or reliance on reinforcements were replaced by decisive improvisation, innovative maneuvers, and continuous adaptation to evolving circumstances. Secret operation principles guided each intervention, ensuring that the soldiers' actions not only disrupted enemy momentum, but also created favorable conditions for Allied success. Impossible mission scenarios, superior enemy numbers, environmental hazards, and rapid mechanized assaults were managed through tactical ingenuity, precision, and audacity. Shocking truth revealed itself in the moment when the Panzer division hesitated, stalled, and became vulnerable, demonstrating the profound impact of individual skill, initiative, and courage on the battlefield. How one man's calculated actions could produce a strategic advantage, influence morale, and alter the tempo of engagement highlighted the extraordinary power of initiative, focus, and execution. Never expected were the dramatic results. The division's coordinated advance slowed, allowing Allied forces to exploit weaknesses, secure positions, and launch effective countermeasures. Rejected ideas of predictability or passive engagement were replaced with deliberate, adaptive, and highly effective maneuvers. Secret operation thinking ensured that every action multiplied its impact, magnifying the influence of a single soldier against a superior force. Impossible mission realities were navigated with precision, patience, and courage, resulting in outcomes that reshaped the course of engagement, elevated morale, and demonstrated the profound effectiveness of individual initiative. Shocking truth revealed itself. One forgotten soldier, through ingenuity and bravery, could stop a mechanized division in its tracks and leave an enduring mark on the course of history. As the Panzer Division's momentum faltered, the battlefield shifted in ways no one could have predicted. Yet how one forgotten soldier orchestrated this change remained a secret embedded in the forbidden plan. Never expected were the cascading effects, delayed attacks, misaligned formations, and fractured communication that amplified the impact of every minor intervention. Rejected ideas of conventional strategy or reliance on brute force were obsolete. The soldier's ingenuity transformed vulnerability into leverage. Secret operation principles ensured that every movement, every diversion, and every engagement multiplied in effect, creating tactical advantages that exceeded his apparent reach. Impossible mission realities, armored superiority, coordinated assaults, and continuous threat from artillery were mitigated through foresight, adaptability, and precise execution. Shocking truth revealed itself as Allies exploited the openings he created. Gaps in enemy lines, slowed advances, and hesitations that provided critical windows for strategic counterattacks. How one individual could manipulate momentum, influence decision-making, and dictate the flow of a mechanized division underscored the extraordinary power of initiative and tactical insight. Never expected were the mental and physical demands. Maintaining awareness, executing precise actions, and enduring exhaustion under constant threat required remarkable resilience and discipline. Rejected ideas of passivity, predictable tactics, or dependence on reinforcements were replaced by bold improvisation, rapid adaptation, and meticulous execution. Secret operation thinking enabled the soldier to anticipate enemy responses, manipulate perceptions, and create controlled disruptions that maximize strategic effect. Impossible mission elements, numerical inferiority, environmental challenges, and overwhelming enemy firepower were neutralized through intelligence, timing, and innovative use of terrain. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly. Small interventions, a barricade here, a misdirected movement there, a calculated exposure, cumulatively disrupted the Panzer Division's cohesion, slowed advances, and allowed Allied forces to regain strategic positions. How one soldier, largely invisible to the enemy, could orchestrate such outcomes highlighted the profound effect of courage, skill, and initiative in the theater of war. Never expected were the ripple effects across the battlefield. Hesitation compounded into vulnerability. Minor delays transformed into strategic advantage, and the division's rhythm was reshaped by a single individual's actions. Rejected ideas of linear planning or adherence to standard tactics were replaced by adaptive strategy, continuous assessment, and decisive intervention. Secret operation techniques guided every choice, from positioning to timing to engagement, ensuring maximum impact and minimizing exposure. Impossible mission realities, superior armored forces, coordinated enemy strategies, and relentless pressure were overcome through foresight, precision, and audacious decision-making. Shocking truth revealed itself in the Panzer Division's gradual disorganization. Commanders struggled to maintain control, units faltered under pressure, and the soldiers' actions created opportunities that proved critical for Allied success. How one forgotten soldier could manipulate these circumstances, sustain pressure, and amplify effect demonstrated the extraordinary potential of individual initiative and tactical mastery. Never expected were the demands on endurance, focus, and split-second judgment, where every decision carried the weight of life, death, and strategic consequence. Rejected ideas of conventional compliance, hesitation, or reliance on numbers alone were abandoned in favor of dynamic execution, adaptive problem-solving, and calculated risk. Secret operation thinking ensured that chaos became opportunity, that terrain, timing, and enemy psychology were exploited to their fullest, and that every intervention reinforced the forbidden plan. Impossible mission scenarios, mechanized superiority, coordinated enemy movements, and hostile terrain were navigated with precision, resourcefulness, and courage, demonstrating how audacity and skill could neutralize apparent disadvantages. Shocking truth revealed itself as minor disruptions compounded. Hesitation in the enemy ranks, slowed movements, and temporary disorganization allowed Allied forces to exploit strategic openings, turning adversity into advantage. How one soldier's sustained focus, tactical insight, and bravery created ripple effects that influenced the course of battle, highlighted the transformative power of individual action in warfare. Never expected were the cumulative consequences of ingenuity, decisiveness, and relentless execution. The Panzer Division's advance was delayed, momentum was disrupted, and the battlefield itself became a tool in the hands of a single, forgotten soldier. Rejected ideas of passivity or predictable behavior were replaced by adaptive action, continuous observation, and calculated intervention. Secret operation principles ensured that every action multiplied its impact, influencing enemy decisions, morale, and operational coherence. Impossible mission realities were mitigated by discipline, foresight, and skill, demonstrating that a single soldier could decisively shape the outcome of engagements against overwhelming odds. Shocking truth revealed itself. The forgotten soldier, through daring, intelligence, and courage, halted a Panzer division, leaving an indelible mark on history and proving the extraordinary power of initiative and determination. As the battlefield quieted, the echoes of engines, gunfire, and tension lingered in the mind of those who survived. Yet how one forgotten soldier had influenced these events remained a secret known only to the terrain and the few allies who witnessed it. Never expected was the extent to which his calculated interventions shaped the outcome, delayed a mechanized division, and preserved countless lives. Rejected ideas of heroism in the traditional sense faded. Recognition was secondary to survival, impact, and adherence to the forbidden plan. Secret operation principles had guided every choice, every movement, and every subtle disruption, creating results that magnified beyond what conventional strategy could achieve. Impossible mission realities, facing overwhelming odds, mechanized superiority, and environmental hazards, were navigated with courage, precision, and unwavering focus. Shocking truth revealed itself as the soldiers' actions, largely unseen, had rippled through the battlefield. Hesitation, missteps, and disruption in enemy ranks created opportunities for Allied forces that would turn the tide in ways unrecorded by history books. How one man, operating alone and under extreme pressure, could influence outcomes of such scale underscored the extraordinary potential of initiative, foresight, and courage under fire. Never expected were the psychological burdens. isolation, fear, exhaustion, and the constant awareness that every decision carried life or death consequences for himself and others. Rejected ideas of reliance on reinforcements, standard tactics, or predictable engagement were abandoned. Instead, continuous adaptation, observation, and precise action defined every step. Secret operation techniques ensured that the forbidden plan unfolded seamlessly, even under conditions that seemed impossible, allowing a single soldier to multiply his effect across an entire mechanized advance. Impossible mission elements, armored dominance, coordinated enemy units, relentless artillery were countered through strategic use of terrain, clever timing, and disciplined improvisation. Shocking truth revealed itself as small, deliberate interventions created compounding effects, blocked paths, misdirected units, and brief delays that bought critical time and shifted momentum. How one individual could manipulate perception, influence behavior, and dictate tempo in the midst of chaos highlighted the profound power of focused skill and tactical insight. Never expected were the physical and mental resilience required, the stamina to move through mud, obstacles, and debris while maintaining vigilance and the presence of mind to make split-second decisions under unrelenting pressure. Rejected ideas of conventional heroism were replaced with adaptive execution, courage under uncertainty, and meticulous alignment with strategic objectives. Secret operation thinking ensured that every choice, positioning, timing, engagement, was amplified through careful observation, anticipation of enemy reactions, and manipulation of terrain. Impossible mission realities, overwhelming enemy force, challenging environmental conditions, and complex coordination were neutralized by ingenuity, precise calculation, and unwavering commitment to the forbidden plan. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly as the Panzer division's progress stalled, movements became hesitant, and strategic openings allowed Allied forces to gain footholds and reclaim momentum. How one soldier's ingenuity, bravery, and unwavering focus could compound into decisive influence over the battlefield underscored the transformative potential of individual action. Never expected were the cumulative psychological effects of prolonged engagement. Stress and isolation, yet discipline, training, and mental fortitude allowed the soldier to endure, execute, and succeed. Rejected ideas of predictability, compliance, or reliance on conventional measures were replaced by improvisation, adaptive maneuvering, and proactive intervention. Secret operation principles ensured that each micro-action, an obstacle placed, a route delayed, a diversion executed, multiplied in effect, shaping the outcome far beyond immediate perception. Impossible mission challenges, numerical inferiority, mechanized superiority, environmental complexity were mitigated through intelligence, courage, and timing. Shocking truth revealed itself as the soldiers' influence persisted, creating conditions for Allied advantage and forcing the enemy to react, miscalculate, and adapt under pressure. How one forgotten individual, unrecognized by history yet decisive in action, could manipulate chaos, shape decisions, and preserve lives demonstrated the extraordinary significance of initiative, precision, and strategic insight. Never expected were the subtle ways in which his presence rippled across the battlefield, altering enemy behavior, creating windows of opportunity, and reinforcing the forbidden plan's effectiveness. Rejected ideas of passivity or hesitation were replaced by relentless execution, creative problem-solving, and audacious action. Secret operation thinking ensured that each step, each micro-intervention, and each risk taken served a larger purpose, multiplying its impact in ways that would only be fully appreciated in the aftermath of engagement. Impossible mission realities were met with focus, adaptability, and courage, leaving an indelible mark on history and proving that even a single soldier, operating with skill and daring, could influence the outcome of a formidable mechanized division. Shocking truth revealed itself in the moments of delayed enemy movement, disrupted coordination, and tactical advantage that allowed Allied forces to prevail. How one forgotten soldier, through ingenuity and bravery, created ripples that changed the course of battle, highlighted the extraordinary potential of individual initiative in the theater of war. As the dust settled over Normandy, the battlefield bore silent witness to the impact of a single soldier whose presence remained largely forgotten, yet whose actions had irrevocably shaped the outcome of the engagement. How one man, operating under extreme pressure, could halt a Panzer division and create cascading advantages for Allied forces remained the central enigma of the Forbidden Plan. Never expected were the profound consequences of his improvisation. Delayed attacks, disrupted formations, and hesitation within the enemy ranks that reverberated far beyond the immediate sector. Rejected ideas of conventional heroism or overt recognition faded in comparison to the strategic effect his calculated interventions produced. Secret operation principles had guided every decision, every subtle movement, and every moment of risk, ensuring the Forbidden Plan succeeded despite impossible odds. Impossible mission realities, mechanized dominance, coordinated enemy forces, environmental hazards, and relentless artillery were neutralized through foresight, ingenuity, and relentless application of skill. Shocking truth revealed itself as Allied units exploited the openings he created, transforming minor disruptions into significant operational advantage. How one individual could manipulate momentum, dictate timing, and influence the decisions of a mechanized division highlighted the extraordinary power of initiative, courage, and tactical insight. Never expected were the mental, physical, and emotional demands, vigilance under fire, endurance through exhaustion, and clarity of mind while surrounded by chaos. Rejected ideas of linear strategy, predictable engagement, or reliance on reinforcements were replaced by adaptive improvisation, decisive action, and continuous observation. Secret operation thinking ensured that every micro-action, placement, movement, diversion, multiplied in effect, forcing enemy miscalculations and amplifying strategic impact. Impossible mission elements, overwhelming numbers, armored superiority, and hostile terrain were mitigated by skill, timing, and audacious execution. Shocking truth revealed itself repeatedly. Minor interventions compounded, hesitation spread among enemy units, and tactical windows emerged for Allied exploitation. How one soldier, largely unseen and unrecognized, could generate such outsized influence demonstrated the profound importance of individual initiative on the battlefield. Never expected were the ripple effects across the sector. Disrupted communications, misaligned units, and delayed operations magnified the advantage created by his actions. Rejected ideas of passivity, conventional compliance, or reliance on force alone were replaced by rapid adaptation, inventive maneuvers, and deliberate execution. Secret operation principles ensured that chaos became opportunity, that terrain, timing, and enemy psychology were leveraged to maximum effect, and that every intervention reinforced the Forbidden Plan. Impossible mission realities, coordinated armored units, environmental hazards, and relentless pressure were confronted with courage, intelligence, and precision. Shocking truth revealed itself as the Panzer division faltered, progress stalled, and Allied forces seized momentum, all stemming from the calculated, courageous efforts of one soldier. How one individual could sustain focus, exploit openings, and maintain initiative under extreme conditions highlighted the extraordinary capacity of human ingenuity and bravery in war. Never expected were the cumulative mental, physical, and emotional strains. Yet the soldier endured, executing with precision and reinforcing the Forbidden Plan. Rejected ideas of predictability, hesitation, or reliance on sheer numbers were abandoned, replaced by adaptive action, continuous observation, and decisive intervention. Secret operation thinking ensured that every subtle manipulation, An obstructed route, a misdirected column, or delayed advance magnified influence, shaping enemy behavior and battlefield dynamics. Impossible mission scenarios were neutralized through timing, foresight, and tactical creativity, demonstrating how skill, focus, and courage could overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Shocking truth revealed itself as Allied forces capitalized on the disruptions, gaining strategic advantages that altered the trajectory of the engagement. How one forgotten soldier, through determination, intelligence, and bravery, could halt a Panzer division, manipulate chaos, and preserve countless lives underscored the extraordinary potential of individual initiative. Never expected were the long-term consequences. The soldiers' unseen efforts not only influenced the immediate battle, but also shaped morale, strategic positioning, and the broader operational theater. Rejected ideas of linear heroism were replaced by the quiet effectiveness of precision, courage, and decisive action. Secret operation principles ensured that the forbidden plan reached completion. Its success measured not in recognition, but in survival, advantage, and the lasting imprint left on history. Impossible mission realities were met, surpassed, and transformed into a demonstration of human ingenuity and tactical mastery. Shocking truth revealed itself in every hesitation induced, every advance delayed, and every advantage gained by Allied forces, proving that even one forgotten individual could leave an enduring mark on history, forever altering the outcome of a mechanized division's advance.